It's Mickey and Gianni, and we are very honored. Joining us today on the unofficial Blast Webcast, the owner, the former CIA operative, and one of the most incredible men in American history, Mr. Ed Hale.
I feel like we should have some candle balls.
Yeah, I'll put some. I'll put some.
You guys are not right.
And so, you know, to be upfront and honest with everybody, you and I have known each other for many, many years, going back to when you were president of your bank and bought the Baltimore Blast soccer.
And furthermore, I knew you when you were 6'2".
Yeah, that's a long time ago. That is a long time ago. You know, Ed, you've known my love for soccer my whole life. Gianni speaks for himself when it comes to that. What do you love? Why did soccer end up in your life?
Well, I never ever played soccer, and Blast, I heard, was going to leave town in like 1988 and go to Cincinnati. I thought, what? How can that be? Because they were so popular. There was no Baltimore Colts, no football, so somebody approached me, Dennis Rasmussen, who was the county executive at Baltimore County at the time, so I decided, I'd give it a shot. So I did it.
Now, in that time, in 1988, indoor soccer was really still riding a huge wave.
Yes, it was.
When you look back at the purchase price of what you paid for a professional team, then I know your passion for the city and not wanting to see it leave has a value, but from a businessman standpoint, was it a good buy?
No, it was one of the worst financial disastrous moves that I've ever made in my entire life.
Is that true?
Yeah, sure, I've lost a ton of money doing it.
Yeah,
but I've enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I really have enjoyed it. And I think everybody knows that I enjoy the game.
Well, I think that's the one thing people might not know, though. As an owner, you losing money every year, yet you keep having fun doing it.
Yeah, well, I can afford to do it. I'm going to be 73 in a couple days.
You look great, Ed. I got to tell you.
Well, you're so nice.
I am. By the way. I'm also a liar.
Yeah, I know. So, but anyway, it's something that I was okay, and I'm okay to do it. But now, over the last 2-3 years, we're making money. So I'm happy with that. So it's taken a long time, though.
Yeah, and you've gone through some leadership changes here corporately. People that were with you a long time, no longer with you. That's almost got to be reinvigorating for you in some ways, isn't it?
Well, I've got myself into the weeds a lot more than I did before. And like I've got you guys. And it's been pretty interesting to see the level of energy that's here now that it wasn't here before.
Well, I think it's easy for two unemployed guys to actually act
Well,
excited.
you guys are enthusiastic, I'll say that.
Let me go back to when you first bought the team. And at one point, did you or did you not change the colors of the jersey?
Oh yeah, that was a dumbass thing.
I remember the blue jersey. We had blue jerseys.
I wouldn't
I'm
bring it
from
up.
Sparrows Point High School.
Right.
Our colors are blue and gray. What do I care if it's
Right.
red? Where's anybody going to care? Well,
Right.
I did that. I thought they were going to give me 15 lashes at halftime. The fans,
Yeah.
they hated it. So I went back.
I'm sorry.
So as the league progressed, and with the original MISL folded, is that when you kept the Blast name but did not want to own anymore as they're going to the NPSL? And because it became the Spirit and you were not involved, correct?
Well, the Spirit, the guy that owned the Spirit, a guy named Bill Staley, wanted to buy the Blast name, and I think he was talked out of it by his wife or something. They wanted, because she's pretty religious, they kept the name Spirit. So I didn't sell them the Blast, I maintained the name.
That's the way everything is unfolded around the indoor team for you is really fascinating. I mean, at one time it was a staple hole in Baltimore City at the arena now. I don't even know what the arena's called anymore, but last I remember it was the First Mariner Arena. I don't know what it's called.
It's Royal Farms.
Royal Farms Arena. Thank you. You moved out of there.
Right.
And what prompted that, if I could ask?
Well, I put the billboards up on the arena. This is pretty much known as kind of a dry business thing, but it's big. I put the billboards on the arena mainly to augment the revenue so that I didn't lose so much money.
Right.
Put them up there, and the contract went till 2012. When that ended, they did an RFP, the request for a proposal at the city. Somebody outbid me.
Okay.
SMG outbid me for it. At the bid meeting, I said, listen, I own the billboard structures. It cost like $1.7 million to put them up, so I own them. And the guy that was there said, no, we own them, sue us. So I did.
How did that go?
Well, if the city owes me, as we sit here today, $5 million, and they keep on, because it's the city, they keep on keeping on because they think that it doesn't cost anybody any money
Right.
to sue a private citizen.
Right.
Yeah, I might add that I'm a private citizen that probably employed tens of thousands of employees at the banks, my trucking company, all in Baltimore City.
Yeah.
And I was given no credit for that whatsoever. This was under the Stephanie Rawlings Blake regime, and her chief of staff. They did a job on me, and I never forgot it. And when you say something like that, we're going to sue you, or you
sue me,
or sue us.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I did.
Well, and you won $5 million. They just won't pay you.
It was $3,360,000, and it's 10% interest a year. But they keep on keeping on because they have a whole bunch of city lawyers that sue private citizens, or defend themselves with private citizens.
What was the atmosphere like in this office when you realized if we don't play somewhere else, we're not going to have a team?
Well, the big thing was SMG, who runs the arena, came in and they said your rent, it was like $8,000. We're going to raise it to $21,000 because I got a judgment against the city.
Right.
It was retribution, pure and simple. There was no way I could afford to do that. I wasn't making any money to begin with.
Right.
So I looked for another place to go. So I went to Towson University and spoke to Tim Leonard, the athletic director, and Kim Schatzel, the president, and we made a deal. And it all had to be done very quickly. And with the help of Danny Kelly, got the field together, and myself, we got it together and moved it out there. And it was an engineering feat to get that done. The season ended, and then we had to be out there. Ended in April, and then we had to be there in November. So it all happened very quickly, and it's turned out to be a great move.
I find your story fascinating because many times in your career, you've been sort of put against a wall or put in a corner, and you don't corner a guy that's not afraid to fight.
Yeah.
And you've overcome just about every single obstacle people have tried to throw at you.
Well, listen,
But that's very Baltimore, is what I wanted to tell you.
Well, I agree, and it's one of those things where I've won them all. I've lost some fights, and but at the same time, I don't shy away from a fight.
Right.
I just don't do that.
Yeah.
And if the city wants to come after me and doesn't have any appreciation for the things that I've done over decades there, I mean, I was born in Highlandtown.
Right.
And my business and Canton Crossing, that's me.
I know it is.
All that, that's what I did that.
Whenever I hear people talk about Canton, the explosion and the building, I go, well, that's Ed Hale. And people go, he owns the Blast, or he owns the bank. I'm like, he's the biggest developer the city had at one time. Am I right about that?
No, I was, John Padarakis, Peter Angelos.
Sure, but that's pretty good company.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, I had a lot of land, and it's all developed now into something that's really good for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I got the tower there, and there's going to be another $1.2 billion worth of development going across the street from the tower. The shopping center is there. When I first got this property, people would say, we don't have a place to buy towels. We have to go to Towson or White Marsh.
Yeah.
But now you can go to Target right across the street.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's really turned out to be very good for the neighborhood.
Well, I'll tell you, Ed, over the years, you and I have joked around on radio and just on the telephone in person. I think people would be amazed to find out what a truly down-to-earth, regular guy you are, especially in this political climate where rich people are considered they're like almost not even Americans anymore. They're a whole different race and creed of people. But working with you and for you at times and doing this, and like, was it hard for you to when you're worth $1 billion, which you were at one time.
No.
Sure you were.
No.
You were worth $1 billion. That's what I'm going to believe.
And you were 6'2".
Well, you said it earlier. But put it this way, a very, very wealthy man. Nothing changed. Nothing really.
No.
You had bigger toys. You had a yacht and a helicopter and shit. But I think anyone would with that kind of money. But you're just You come in here every day, you got a little carry bag and your car. Like, the first time I met him, I'm like, oh, he's going to have, like, the Batmobile.
Yeah.
I got a Toyota 4Runner. I'm like, this guy could buy anything he wants. What's kept you humble?
No, I would prefer to keep my feet on the ground, keep myself surrounded with friends that are not pretentious.
Yeah.
I do not like blue bloods. I do not like the
You've
people.
never been afraid to say that.
No.
Right.
As a matter of fact, when I took over the Bank of Baltimore, one of the things I said, I'm taking on people that were born on third base and think they hit a triple.
Right.
And that's how those people are, you
Yeah,
know, and
yeah.
they never did anything. And I was said, oh, you're the Donald Trump of Baltimore. I was insulted by
Right,
that.
right.
Yeah, Donald Trump's father gave him like $38 million worth of apartments.
Yeah.
You know, me, I never got anything.
Right.
You know, I had a nice upbringing. It was
Your dad
fun.
never gave you $38.
No, it was.
He doesn't give us 30.
Right.
He
No,
can't even
you
get a
guys don't
sandwich.
deserve it.
Yeah.
Sorry. Speaking of taking on, I'm going to go back to the soccer real quick.
Right.
You have been known to take on commissioners, owners, other teams. I just want to know, and I'm sure, Mickey, that we've talked about many times, but just kind of tell us what your relationship has been like with commissioners, the leagues. You know, the Blast are, to me, and not because we're here, but because we grew up in this town, the Blast have always been one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic, respected teams in this league, with a big bullseye because we're so successful that cities, coaches, teams
Oh, they hate us. They do. They
Yeah.
really do hate us.
Right.
But I will tell you this. When I got into it, Earl Foreman was the commissioner of the league. He's an old Jewish guy from Baltimore.
Yeah.
He owned the Bullets and, you know. And,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And he was one of the guys in the ABA basketball league on the Virginia Squires, drafted Julius Erving. For
Dr.
example.
J.
Dr. J from UMass.
Right.
One of the greatest guys ever of all time. Earl Foreman was a principal guy. He just died a couple of years
We
ago.
actually put him in the Blast Hall of Fame.
He and I were friends. So he was the first commissioner. Some of the owners were, back in that day, was Don Carter from the Dallas Mavericks, and Dallas Sidekicks, a guy named Ron Fowler from San Diego. Great owners, good people, loved the game, loved to do the sport, and it was really a flourishing sport. Then it got to the point where, you know, we got crappier owners.
Yeah.
We got some of the worst human beings I've ever seen in my life owning teams.
Yeah.
The guy in Kansas City, for example. You know, I'm not going to shy away from talking about that clown.
Do you know his name?
Yeah, his name is Likens.
Likens.
And he's a creep and a clown. And really.
You got to learn to open up, Ed. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, I said this on the air.
Yeah.
And, you know.
On a Kansas City broadcast with the Kansas City
right,
announcers.
yeah, right. You know,
I remember sitting at home going, what's happening here?
But, you know, he was just a bad guy that
Yeah.
did bad things to the league, which really undermined the league itself
Yeah.
and its viability as a corporation. Now, that sounds like a dry business thing, but it was
It's real.
real, and
Yeah.
I didn't like it. And he was an egotistical guy that, you know, he wouldn't see me. Like, I've never met him face to face. So I'm at his arena, and you know, I said things about him, and they said, well, maybe we should get Mr. Likens to come into the TV booth. I said, well, I got all day. Go get him. So, really.
Did he show up?
No.
So not only is he a scumbag, he's a coward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a blowhard.
Whoa. You know, Ed, part of your competitive nature, I mean, whether it's business, soccer, board meetings, building, trucking, shipping, all that stuff, I think is what drives the team to success every year. Granted, you're not out there scoring goals or stopping goals, but you set a precedent, and I've noticed it being around your offices here. You set a precedent, sort of, look, I'm the first one in and the last one to leave. That's how my team's going to work with me.
Right.
And do you find that to be easy for you, or do you?
No, it's second nature to me, Mickey.
Yeah.
Because you know, I've always been competitive. You know, and I've told this story before. If it was going to snow, I would sleep with my clothes on so I could get out. And I'm talking when I was like 7, 8 years old. So
Yeah.
I'd be the first one out to shovel the snow, so with my friends wouldn't shovel my customers' sidewalks.
You
for
beat
money.
everybody.
Yeah, I would.
The old early bird gets the worm.
So I've always been like that. But I tell Danny Kelly, Danny's by far the best coach in the league, the
Yeah.
most successful in the history.
Great guy.
And you know, he was a great player. He's a great coach. And I just tell him, I said, I'm not a jock sniffer owner.
Right.
You get the best team, put the best team on the field to win every shift.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know, if you have to cut people, cut them. If you want me to talk to you about signing people, talk to me about it.
Yeah.
And that's been very successful. The two of us have worked together very well.
I find one thing amazing about you last year when I first got involved with the team as part of the game day. I've always been a fan, but being there, you know, my radar goes off of things. You're still a huge fan. You jump up when we score, and it's not bullshit to you. You're really into it.
I sing along with the SpongeBob.
He loves SpongeBob.
Yeah.
No, I like having a good time.
Yeah, and I
don't like to lose. I hate to lose.
I think one of the things that we're learning about, Ed, since we've been in here, is it's not just an on-field product, it's off-the-field product. So it's winning at the arena, it's winning with the crowds, it's winning, you know, in promotions and things like that. It's not the win-loss column for soccer, it's inside and outside the boards.
I think you've been that way with all your companies.
I really have been. And, you know, you look at the people at First Mayor, I took over the Bank of Baltimore.
Yeah.
And I got rid of all the blue bloods.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
For those either younger or, let me just say this, Ed, for people listening. When you say the term blue bloods, what you really mean are people that were born into money. They didn't necessarily earn it themselves.
They're better than you.
And think they're better than you. Right.
Because they are.
They have money.
Yeah, they have money. That's right.
That was given to them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I have no respect for them.
Well, I'm glad I'm not one of them. You know? I was, you know.
I love you guys so much.
Well, you know, Louis C.K., a very famous comedian, said the most humiliating thing is when you go to the ATM and it says that your bank is minus $10, which meant if someone gave you $10, you'd have nothing. You know, when you think about it.
Yeah, but those people think that they're entitled. And when I took over the Bank of Baltimore, again, you know, it became a religious experience because they said they were going to send me back across where I came from, back across the tracks where I came from.
Right.
So I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
So it went from a proxy fight to a religious experience.
Sure.
So I win. And I was determined to show that I could be a better manager of that business than those people who were born into it. And that's what I did. And I made sure that I hired people. I kept people. Some of them were actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And I kept some of them.
Yeah.
But I made sure that I really focused on the Jewish community more than anything else. That's one thing that I would talk about openly.
Yeah.
The Jewish community does more business in 2 weeks than they do all year long.
Right.
They do more in charities and just the arts and things because I just think that they're better than some of the blue bloods that we deal with around here.
Yeah.
And I've always said, I would say that at shareholders meetings, and some people would get, hurrah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've found even in my career, you know, I say things outrageous for a living, but when it's true, you don't really have anything to feel bad about. And how are you insulting someone by saying they're better people than you?
No, I just really, I really speak what's on my mind. Davy Crockett said when he went to Congress, when you're sure you're right, then go ahead.
Right.
And I live by that.
Yeah.
And if I'm really not too sure, I'll keep my yap shut.
Right.
But in most cases, I really, if I believe something, I'm going to tell you. Well, you guys know that.
Absolutely. There's no punches pulled. One of the things I find really interesting about you too, and you know, I really tend to study people as I learn. I know you have a love of history, and it plays into, I think, the heritage of the Blast. Because I think you know that one day, and we all have to face this, you're going to be gone. And whether your children assume the team or a new group comes in, you want there to be a legacy, and you want there to be a Blast way that things are done. And I think that's important to you. Am I correct in that assumption?
No, when I'm dead, I don't care.
I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
No. I like to have a history that's going to be meaningful to whoever comes on after me.
Yeah, and I think you pay a lot of attention to your Hall of Fame.
Yep.
It's important that you put people in who gave to the team, and this year you're putting in someone that's not a player.
Right.
Marty
McGinty.
Yeah.
Marty is one of
the great characters.
Yeah, he's a great character, but he's also a mentor. He's at Archbishop Curley.
Yeah.
He's a mentor for the kids.
Yeah.
And, he was a great trainer.
Yeah.
Pulled no punches with the Serbian players and things like that. I mean, he was funny.
Yeah.
Funny. But he was also really gifted at taking care of getting players back onto the field. So I believe that this is well deserved for him to be in.
Yeah.
And Lee to come in, Lee DeChantre.
Yeah. One of my favorite people.
And David, Bascom has been with this franchise as a coach? As a
I'd
player?
like to just talk about those two guys a second.
Sure.
So I see Bascom play, and he's African American,
Yeah.
with a ponytail.
From Bermuda.
Yeah, from Bermuda.
Yeah.
So I
One
go.
of the funniest guys.
Oh,
He's a great guy, but he's
Yeah.
also a gifted player.
Yes.
So I think it was like 20 years ago. I go to a bank convention in Bermuda at the Princess, and I knew his father was the main chef there. So I walked over to the door and knocked on the kitchen door, and I said, "Is Herbie Bascom here?" And he said, "Yeah, who is it?" I said, "This is Ed Hale. I'm the owner of the Baltimore Blast soccer team in Baltimore." So he comes out, I meet him. I said, I'd really like to get your son to play for us. I really would. That's a true story.
Really?
Oh, yeah. So, then he came in, and he's been not only a great player for us, but a really good assistant coach, really great with Danny. He's great with the players.
I'll tell you what else really impresses me about David Bascom, how smart he is.
Oh, yes.
And how committed he is to the community. It's like a lot of guys talk it. He's out there every day doing stuff.
He's very, very business savvy. He's very
Great guy.
Great
And
soccer player.
he's got a lovely wife and great kids.
Yeah.
Really-
She runs the cheerleading
runs the
team.
cheerleaders. We have the best cheerleaders by far.
Yeah, no
Now,
doubt.
let's talk about Lee.
Lee.
So I see this guy, looks like Beetlejuice, playing.
He had some wild hair.
He had
didn't
some wild. He
Oh.
looked like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, so he's a guy that you hate when you're playing.
Oh, no question.
But you love him when he's playing for you. And
Yeah.
he came in and he's just a great guy.
Yeah, he
Now
is.
he's over at Loyola.
Yeah.
And he
Very successful coach.
He's doing very well over
Yeah.
there. Just a fun, smart
Yeah.
guy, and he's doing he's our color commentator.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's just a great guy. He's funny.
Yeah.
But he's really, really competitive.
Oh,
And
100%.
I will tell you, we won our championship in 2002-3.
Yeah.
And we were at the Bradley Center. It's 15,000 people watching the game. We're losing 11-3. And it's at the end of the third quarter, Billy Nelson hits a three-pointer,
Yeah.
which was how we scored those days for the long shots. So we start coming back, and you could see that we're losing the game.
Yeah.
We're losing it. Now I'm sitting there. I was dating Jennifer Gilbert at the time. She's there. My mother.
Right.
We're all sitting there, and I'm like, oh, jeez. So, but I noticed Danny Kelly and Lee would dig the ball out. They get in the corners, and they never stop battling.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
I never, ever, ever forget that.
Right.
And I would just see how they would do that, and it stuck with me.
Yeah.
To this day, I just looked at and how impressed and how much I admired those guys.
Wow.
Do you have a favorite player or a favorite victory in your time as the owner of the Blast?
Yes.
Do you care to share?
Well, I could tell you that all the championships are good.
Yeah.
But when we beat Milwaukee, when we're losing 11-3, or was it 12-3? We beat them 13-12. I cannot describe the feeling I had.
That's got to be.
And watching all those people in those stands, they're like,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only way that could have been better is if it was home.
yeah. Then we played next year.
Right.
And we just smoked them in
Yeah.
front of the biggest crowd, the highest grossing crowd we ever had.
Wow.
It was something, and so that was good. But I've got Danny's a favorite player, Lee,
Yeah.
Tariq Walker, Dennison Cabral, great guy.
Yeah.
Jules.
Yeah.
Julio
Jules.
Salenza.
Yeah. Great guy.
Yeah, good people. PJ Wakefield scores a
Yeah.
goal on the very first shift you ever played on
Yeah.
that team. I'm like, who the hell is
Yeah.
that?
Welcome to the team, kid.
Yeah, but PJ Wakefield.
Yeah.
You would think it would be like
Yeah.
Pele
Or Stomakovich or one legend.
One of those things.
Yeah.
Boom.
And you still talk to Kenny Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
You still have a relationship with the former coach of the Blast.
And Lee, and PJ and his kids come down and hunt at my farm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And before we get wrap this up, and we get to some viewer questions, some people sent in some questions.
did they?
Yeah. Before I just want to,
He looks at me like I'm responsible for this.
maybe that's true, or maybe I'm just making them up, Ed, but I'm not going to tell you. No, you can believe that. There seems like to me you're coming at this almost in a resurgence sort of attitude, seeing the way we're advertising and seeing the way that we're going back out into the community. Do you think the team, this is a tough question to ask you, but I'm a straightforward guy. Do you think the team got off track a little bit as far as its community, selling tickets, the move to the arena, or move to Towson, and not really communicating well outside of the field?
Well, I believe that the move to Towson was like a little off-putting to people because the people in South Baltimore, for example, didn't want to come up to
Sure,
Towson.
yeah.
Now,
But nobody else wants to go to the city.
yeah, people don't want to go to the city.
No, I don't.
I don't want to go to the city.
I love the city and I won't go.
I
Yeah.
was the chairman of Visit Baltimore for 9 years.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't want to go there. I feel really good about coming out there, but some people are still getting acclimated to come to Towson.
I loved the game last year in the Towson Arena. I'm not making that up. I'm not giving you lip service. To me, if I'm a 12, 13-year-old kid, it's the perfect environment.
Well,
I really believe that.
I think it's very state of the art. The ribbon
Yep.
board around.
Right.
A lot of the soccer purists don't like the field size, but many people have come to really love because I think it's a quicker game with a smaller field.
Well,
Much
if the
quicker.
soccer purists don't want to come, don't come.
Yeah.
It's like you can turn off the television or radio, whatever.
Right.
I turned off the radio whenever he was on.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But here, it's one of those things where moving out there, the very first game we played, I'm like, I wonder how this is going to be because it was a small field. It's like Sonora's field where
Yeah.
we had played a couple championship games. I thought, I wonder what it's going to be like. The first thing that struck me was how clean, neat, bright, and everything it was, and it was like sparkling.
Yeah.
And you were right there watching the game. But then all around the concourses were all these really good concessions. You could go get a couple beers and a glass of wine, stand at a high top and watch the game. It's
Right.
there. Your kids can go to the bathroom. They never leave the arena.
Right.
It's right there. You don't
Yeah.
have to go outside.
No, that's what I'm saying.
it's just more fun.
Yeah.
I am extremely happy that I've gone out to Towson University.
And let's move on to some viewer questions. Question number 1, it says here, and this is from Dave in Baltimore. He wants to know, it's public you were in the CIA. How many people did you actually kill? There's your answer, Dave. Question number 2 comes from Susan. She's from Harrisburg. Ed, why do you hate our town? We'll move on to question number 3, Jim.
Who are you, Zach Galifianakis?
I'm just telling you, these are the questions viewers sent in. Question number 3 comes from Adam Levine. Wait a minute, isn't that the guy from Maroon 5?
Yes, formerly The Voice.
Ed, how do you get so many chicks?
I don't. I'm 73, for God's sake.
I mean, he's really kind of dodging all these
He
questions.
really
We
is.
got one more question. This comes from Donald Trump. Ed, you've been called the Donald Trump of Baltimore. Doesn't it make more sense that I'm the Ed Trump of America?
He's looking at me like, what is going on?
And I got to tell you, we've known each other 20-some years now. You're one of the greats of this town. You know this. I'm a huge soccer fan, but I also love the city. And it's a city of neighborhoods, not really just, you're not from Baltimore. You're from a particular neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, we're very parochial.
Yes, and I love that. And you're a guy that's embraced it. You've given the city some amazing things that no one really realizes. Canton, what it is today. I mean, I know you're not 100% alone, but you're a gigantic percentage of that equation. You've given us...
Well, real quick.
Yes.
The Mayor Pugh.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Mayor Pugh.
Yeah.
He was here for a short period of time.
Yeah, like me in high school.
Right, yeah.
I think she lasted longer.
I think she did.
Yeah, she probably did.
That's because Mario Shilapoti wasn't the one judging. Go ahead, Coach.
Anyway, in order to settle this lawsuit, we go to a mediation.
Yeah.
They said, one of the things we want to do in part of the mediation, if you want X, here's what we propose. We will build a statue of you in Canton because of you being the founder of all the gentrification of Canton with the bank and everything.
Really?
That's right. That's what they said. I said, I will take the statue, but it's got to be 3 feet tall and put it in the Canton Dog Park. That's what I told her. That's the true story.
And for the 2019-2020 season, there's nothing short of a championship in your eyes that you're going to settle for.
No.
If you had to make a prediction, how many games total? Is it 20?
24.
What? Take a shot at our record this year, you think?
No, I don't. I really don't want to. I've taken it. I've looked at our schedule, and I think I know what we're going to do. You can't win them all. You just can't do it.
You can't?
No, you can't. You want to,
Right.
And I can guarantee you, Danny and a lot of our players, we have great, very competitive veteran
This
players.
team's unbelievable.
It really is good.
Yeah.
But we had 2 ACLs, and one of the guys got his face fractured.
Yeah.
Couldn't play. So we were with that. You were there.
Yeah.
And we couldn't field a team.
And still made it to the semifinals.
Yeah, and we were actually, when we played in the semifinal in Milwaukee, we had no forwards.
Yeah.
We had Mo, who was a new
Yeah.
guy. I can't pronounce it. Nadai.
Yeah.
I think it's It's
Nadai.
Mo. It's Mo.
Mo.
Yeah,
we call him
Mo.
Mo. Yeah.
Mo. He's a really good guy, young guy.
Yeah.
He gets stepped on purpose and gets a high ankle sprain because of this guy in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And so we were down to like Vinny Dantas.
Right.
That was it. There was only one.
They lost 2-1.
Yeah, we lost 2-1.
Yeah.
And then they just beat up on Monterey. So I think that we were just maybe a player away from finishing off the season as champions, because
Yeah.
I think we could have beaten. We match up pretty well with Monterey.
Well,
And real quick, Mickey,
Yeah.
this year we have new carpet, new intro, video, inflatable. I mean, there's a lot of new things for the
Right.
season to come into.
let's take a second right now and let's check out the new intro video.
Drive, rebound, score! Rebound, gotta go!
Something's coming. Something's coming. Yeah. Something's coming. Something's coming.
Turn, tip. Gursey scores! The half bicycle, and we're tied at 9!
Let the games begin. Ooh. Yeah. Come walk in my shoes. I done paid all my dues. I got something to prove. All in, nothing to lose. Right now, a new day starts. Woke up my brain hard. Stand up and play my part. Like the crowd waves start. Been patient long enough. Not waiting, I'm bossing up. Life is like a toss up. I tend to triple cross it up. We born to be giant slayers. We shine too bright to shade us or face us. We love the pressure. It's what made us. Something's coming. Something's coming. Something's coming. Let the games begin.
Let's take a second. Let's check out that video is pretty incredible, don't you think?
The response that we have gotten, I think it goes to just the different atmosphere that's around here now.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and you guys have been a part of it.
Me and this guy.
Yeah, listen, even though you're Italian.
But I'm half Irish. I'm half
My
Irish.
mom is Irish too.
Yeah.
And we're going to share something, Ed.
Uh-oh.
You and I have a very important day that we share together.
Oh, yeah.
Our birthday, Gianni.
That's right.
November 15th. One of the greatest men in the history of the world was born, and so was Ed Hale.
And you got 2 shopping days, look, man.
That's true. We are recording this on the 13th. I got to leave here. What do you go buy a guy that used to have everything? How about anything? And I got to tell you, just being a part of this, I'm going to be 51, and at 51, this is insanely exciting for me. I feel like I'm 20 or 15, and the Baltimore Blast are letting me work there.
Absolutely.
And
I've always wanted to be involved. I mean, I've been doing the music now for 4 years, but this year is just so much more exciting, much more fun.
Well,
Yeah.
Gianni, you and I spoke of this. I didn't know who you were. I
Right.
knew you were there.
a lot of people don't, Ed, so
Right.
don't feel bad for
No,
that.
you're there. You're the DJ, very nice and very polite and all that sort of thing. But I never thought of anything. I had no idea about the depth of what you could bring to what you do here. I know what Mickey can do. All joking aside,
Right. Thank you.
It's been fun to do it because you both love soccer. You've been
Yeah.
involved in
Absolutely.
soccer, but you have a sense of humor. And the technical stuff that we're doing here now
Yeah.
is something that we had never done.
Yeah.
And so I'm really happy that this has worked out like this for all of us.
Well, Ed, I got to tell you, I know Gianni feels the same way. How many teams in the league this year?
18.
And how lucky are we to work for this one?
Right.
I mean, it's the best team in the league. The league's a great game. And when people go, oh, there's only 6 teams in the league, I go, and there's 3 times that.
Yeah, we're playing in Towson, not Baltimore.
Right, and
we're
we're
still in business.
and we're still in business.
People still come up to me and say, "The Blast is still around?" I said,
Yeah. And that's got to be tough. And, there's multiple reasons for that mindset. But hopefully things like this will change that and remind not only parents, but will be eye-opening to kids that maybe have never seen the game before.
No, it's going to be interesting this year. You know,
Yeah.
we had some people here that had been with us for years, 20-some years.
Yeah.
And they're not here, and they were very in tune to the soccer community, and
Yeah.
we'll bring in a lot of groups. We'll see how that goes. We have other people calling the groups now and getting them to come in. They are the biggest. That's the biggest percentage of people that come to our games are the soccer groups.
Yeah,
Rec
and there's a ton of them in town, man.
School groups, the club teams,
But here's
rec teams.
here's one of the things that's going to be a new ingredient. I made a call to John Oshevsky Jr., the county executive, and I said, yeah, we would like to have like a battle of the bands between Sparrows Point and Dundalk, for
Yeah.
example, traditional rivals, Parkville Overley,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
You know,
Calvert Hall Curly.
yeah,
Yeah.
the Catholic schools,
Yeah.
you know, and Loyola, you know, have those come out and, you know, compete
Yeah.
at halftime, and they're going to do it.
Yeah.
First, I've been asking about that for years.
Right.
And now they're going to do it this year. It
Yeah.
was that quick. The county executive, boom, reacted to it immediately.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a great product, and I think we're finally realizing we had some work to do to get it back into people's foresight or in front of them. And I think you're doing a great job, Ed. And it's impressive, you know, like you said, a man 73 years old, you know you're going to lose money, and you get up and you're excited about it every day.
Yeah.
And I think eventually that does pay dividends.
Well, I don't think we're going to lose money this year, Mickey. I really believe that we have a shot now to outgross what we've done in the past.
Bonus,
We're getting paid.
bonuses.
Let's not get crazy.
Ed Hale, real pleasure, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, see you guys.
All right, guys, this is the unofficial Baltimore Blast webcast. Thanks for tuning in. Look for more episodes coming up. Also, we want to remind everybody at any time you can go to baltimoreblast.com, find out many different ways to get tickets, and check out the merchandise page and enjoy yourselves. This is a great sport. We're so psyched to be a part of it. Gianni,
Yeah.
as always, a man of very few words, even less thought.